So I decided to tap into that market. It's healthy to have competition.
Right.
They do not actually understand the demographics of Goa.
D nowadays is talking about AI, and that's something you cannot ignore. Hi, and welcome to The Brand Stories with me, SurrajPalekar. This is where we talk about different brands, people behind it, and the kind of services these brands have to offer. So today we have with us Keith Fernandes. He's the founder of one of the largest outdoor advertising agency in Goa, SlipDisc. Keith, welcome to The Brand Stories.
Thank you so much.
Okay, Keith, I've actually remember the last conversation we had. You mentioned that you moved to Goa in your teens.
Yeah.
So tell us about your journey from Mumbai to Goa.
So basically, we were born and brought up in Bombay,
Okay.
in Bandra to be precise.
Huh.
And my dad decided to come back to his roots in my 9th standard,
Okay.
at the age of 15 to be precise. We had an ancestral house in Goa,
Okay.
and he said, why not, get away from the hustle bustle of Bombay and come back to his roots. So that's how in the year 1989, that's when we
Which village are we talking about?
we're talking about Para.
Para.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The famous Madani, the whole
Yes, the
shooting
famous Madani.
part. Okay.
Yeah. So we shifted down to Para, and I completed my 10th standard in St. Brito's High School in Mapsa.
Okay.
Thereafter, I did my college in Xavier's.
Okay.
I didn't complete my graduation as such, but after the 12th standard, I decided to get into sales.
Okay.
And that's about it.
So, you came to Goa, you finished your studies, and you immediately started SlipDisc, or?
No. I started SlipDisc to be 26 years back. After my 12th standard, I decided to get into sales. I got into Pepsi.
Okay.
I also did a brief stint with Distillery. And while I was working there, the advertising agency called JWT, J. Walter Thompson,
Right.
those guys were looking out for a guy to handle Goa for them, the outdoor advertising part, to be precise. And they picked me up, and that's how, it's taken off.
Now tell me one thing, did you actually thought of being a doctor or something? Because the name SlipDisc, actually takes me back to that. So how did this name come,
So, while I was working, my dad was a drummer. He was a jazz drummer, to be precise. So music is in our blood, So what happened was, we decided to, during the time I was also a drummer.
Right.
So the DJ music scene was taking over into Goa at that point of time. So we decided to revive live music.
Okay.
And while we were wanting to revive live music, we started an event called Battle of the Bands.
That's pretty famous in
Yes.
a lot of people know.
So we were promoting live musicians in Goa. We had this event called Battle of the Bands. We did it for 15 years.
Wow.
So we wanted a company to basically start. And my dad used to perform in a club in Bombay called SlipDisc. So it was the first discotheque in Mumbai at that point in time. Famous bands like Led Zeppelin and all performed there. So that struck in my my head, and I said, why not use a something
well-known name which is
name
there.
from So that's how we got the name SlipDisc.
SlipDisc. So what does SlipDisc do? What kind of services do you offer?
The minute we put up our billboards for SlipDisc, we used to get a lot of calls thinking we are the guys who handle back problems. But we said we don't handle back problems, we actually handle brand problems. Yeah. So SlipDisc, we started off as an advertising agency, an outdoor advertising agency. We're a bunch of youngsters actually, that helped me put up this entire brand together.
Okay.
We used to do outdoor advertising, radio advertising, digital. It's come on the scene now. Like, but at that point in time, a newspaper.
Right.
Most of the advertising agencies 25 years back, the corporates used to operate from Mumbai or the major cities. There were no kind of professional advertising agencies at that point of time in Goa. So all the work used to go to agencies outside Goa. And the big brands used to actually advertise in Goa, and they used to, hire the advertising agencies from outside Goa. At that point in time, local advertising was not happening much, So I decided to tap into that market, and that's how we grew as a brand. Actually, and also the advertising agencies coming from outside Goa, they do not actually understand the demographics of Goa, the geography and how the people operate in Goa. So that's how we decided to tap into that market and create a market of our own.
So when you're talking about outdoor advertising, what all actually comes under this? Are you only into billboards, or there is more to it?
See, when you say outdoor advertising, the minute you step out of your door, any kind of signage, it'd be a billboard, a small traffic signage, a pole kiosk, a bus shelter, a mobile van, everything comes under outdoor advertising. So basically we handle everything as far as outdoor media is concerned.
Nice. So you have a whole team sitting of designers and everybody.
Yes, we have not only designers. Designers is only a part of it. We have a monitoring team. Basically, what happens in outdoors, it's a very disorganized medium. It's not like a newspaper medium as such. The minute the ad is out and it's over.
Correct.
In outdoors, what happens is a lot of maintenance is there.
Correct.
You see billboards, if there's rain, it gets the flexes get torn off. If there's breeze, after about a week's time, because the flexes, seem to sag. There's a lot of monitoring issues where it comes.
So that becomes your responsibility as a company if something is going wrong with the board.
Yes. Okay. And the other part in outdoors, it is, since it's disorganized, say, let's look at it, say if you're a brand called iPhone and you want to launch, say, iPhone 16 in Goa. So we as outdoor advertising professionals in Goa, we will exactly tell the client, listen, look, where his clientele is. We know, we have figures. We know exactly where the brand's clientele is. So we can actually tell the client precisely where to go and put up his outdoor media as such. So we have traffic count. So we have that kind of advanced data with us.
Right. Have you ever thought of exploring other markets apart from Goa? So let's take, is Goa very different than the outside other markets? You feel?
Very different. Very different because, like I said, the Goan market is different. The people around you are different. Our way of moving about is totally different from the rest of the cities. The other thing is when I was with JWT, I was handling the outdoors. It was called Portland at that point of time. I used to handle Western Maharashtra as well and parts of Karnataka also.
Okay.
But then I decided, to stick to Goa. That's where my strengths were.
Okay. Now tell me one thing. When I talk about outdoor advertising, the cost of advertising, and with current digital marketing era that we are actually experiencing, do you see a dip in outdoor advertising lately, or you seen growth? You still see growth?
To be honest, Suraj, every kind of media, is important today.
Right.
You cannot say since digital marketing is coming up, there would be a dip in outdoors or newspaper. Every kind of media is important. For example, outdoors becomes a larger than life media. The minute you look at a billboard, you tend to grasp it in.
Correct.
For example, say if you're on digital media today and if there are 10 restaurants advertising, so what happens? You keep on swiping and swiping and swiping. You've already lost, suppose if I wanted to go to say stomach, today I saw stomach in the morning and one of the influencers kind of promoting fish thali.
Right.
But then I've come to Spice Goa and I've already forgotten
the stomach. Okay.
So what happens is if you put a billboard and you say you put stomach out there, since it's a larger than life media, it's a 60 feet guy, huge billboard looking out there, you will grasp it in. So that's the difference between
the digital
and outdoor. Then again with newspaper, you're relaxed. Like, on a Sunday, you're not going to go, and like, the content matter which you get in a newspaper is much more than a billboard.
Correct.
Like, so I feel each media is equally important.
Right.
Like,
so I think considering how competitive the market is, one should tap into every aspect of marketing.
Yeah. Like,
Correct. So how do you see the future of outdoor marketing, specifically, nowadays, there's so much of technology that has come in. So how do you see we were talking about one still hoarding which is there.
Yes.
How do you see these changing?
See, of course, outside Goa, like the metros and outside India, it's already changed. Like, LEDs are coming. Okay. And the technology is improving every day. So you have LED billboards outside Goa, but in Goa we are still static. The LED medium is coming in, but we have our restrictions in Goa, like, our kind of climate conditions. Like, it's not that easy for us to kind of put up LED billboards, but I'm sure, it's definitely going to come in. Like, that's the way forward. Like, and yeah, we're getting there.
How do you see yourself, in comparison to your competition? You're one of the biggest, right? In Goa. I mean, anywhere you go, people do talk about the brand SlipDisc. So how do you see competition?
Competition is going to be there, Suraj, and it's healthy to have competition.
Right.
Like, I'm very. I feel like, the more players which come in, like, the more people who get into outdoors, it's going to be very good, because then the entire business booms. Like, then the more people who get into our business, that means, there is a need for advertising. Like,
Goa is a very small state. I think the spaces are limited, right? So, I mean, in terms of whether it is hoarding or whether you're talking about bus shelters, I think you're talking about a very limited, and too many players in Goa, won't it like really spoil the market?
I don't see that happening, like, because I really feel like, hardly 50% of Goa has been actually tapped. If you go to see, like, it's only the major cities and the major, the arterial roads and the highways which are being tapped. But rural markets are there. Like, the builders, as you see, they're getting in.
Right.
Like, a lot of Goa has a lot of real estate market coming in. A lot of the casinos are expanding, the restaurants are expanding. Like, so the more the players, the better it is. And then actually I feel there will be a need to advertise.
Right.
Because what happens is, otherwise if you're limited, like, then people don't feel the need. Like, so the more the players come in, people will feel, yes, there is a need actually to advertise, and there is a reason they need to advertise. Like 25 years back when I got into the scene, like, if I used to go and say, "Arey boss, like, put up a billboard or, do an ad," they say, "Na kare," like, kidhar? Like, they used to feel, okay, I'll open up a restaurant or, and people will walk in. Yeah. Like, but no, now, they have felt that there is a need to advertise. Like,
considering the ever-changing scenario in the market, for the advertising, see, it's all content-driven kind of advertising nowadays. People wants to see things moving, and we are still in Goa talking about, hoardings which are placed there or an ad which is just placed there.
Yeah.
How do you plan to adapt SlipDisc to the changing times?
So basically what happens is today, if you see, the advertising, it's still advertising. There we have static billboards.
Right.
And with technology coming in and with the LED billboards coming in, we have a team of content writers.
Right.
Like, we have people who understand the medium, how to utilize the medium in terms of the LED billboards, the content which needs to get into the billboard. What happens is the client today, he says, okay, fine, like, I'm going to give you the ad of, say, for example, let's say again, let's go to, say, BMW.
Correct.
Like, and he needs to put up a billboard and needs to put up an ad on an LED.
Right.
So we're going to come up with the content, what exactly he needs to say. He wants to, advertise for an X1 or an X5. So we have the content which goes, the technology which goes in. Right. So the content is there. We have the youngsters coming in, like, a lot of, like with AI coming in, a lot of youngsters are getting into, AI and stuff. So we're going to get there.
So I think everybody nowadays is talking about AI, and that's something you cannot ignore.
Yes.
But even as I said, though do you think that considering it can be a expensive medium like a LED billboard, it might even be actually more profitable to you as a company because you can have multiple ads.
Yes. We can have multiple ads. What happens is on LED billboard we sell slots.
Correct.
Like, but what happens again? Like, some of the clients say, "Arey, I do want to be along with my competitor. I do want to be along with with another guy. I rather have a static billboard. I have the entire coverage for myself." Like, but with LED again, you can do so much. Like,
Exactly.
in terms of technology, in terms of the visual graphics which come out on a LED. So, there are pros and cons. So we give the client the freedom to choose, and we explain to them the advantages and disadvantages of each medium. Like,
So, according to you, how impactful outdoor advertising is, and especially I'm talking about billboards, when it comes to brands, have you ever got companies coming back to, because of these hoardings, we have seen a growth, or we've seen, people walking in?
Definitely. Because let's say I have brands working with me in terms of outdoors. Like, we have major brands working with us for the last 15-20 years. And they've been there with us because they know the kind of value they're getting in terms of outdoors. Again, I keep repeating, it's a larger than life medium. Like, you cannot ignore it the minute you get out of your house. Like, and people are traveling. There's traffic increasing every day. Like, if you're traveling today from Mapsa to Panjim, look at the amount of traffic which is stuck at Koram.
Correct.
Like, so what do you do when you're stuck at a signal?
Like, on Instagram or other platforms. But that's what people do.
Yeah. Like, so that's a medium. It's there to stay. Like, and it's going to grow. Like, so that's how it's going to
So you don't plan to expand. You don't want to go outside Goa, look at probably other countries also, maybe.
Not as of now, to be honest. Like, I'm pretty happy where I am. I'm content with what I'm doing.
So, Shagal,
You're in Goa. I mean, as I said, my dad came in 25 years back to have, relaxed kind of life. I'm pretty happy with where we are. And I have a bunch of youngsters with me, like, so we are doing, on the side, we are doing, our events as well. We are promoting musicians, and I have also gone into, distillery.
Oh, is it?
So we've launched a tequila in Goa, and we have also launched Rakshas.
I was there, yes.
It's Gracia and Rakshas right now. And keeping myself busy.
So looking at expanding into a different field altogether, getting into.
Let's see how it goes.
Is it?
Yeah. Let's see how it goes.
All right. So any message you would want to give to our viewers when it comes to advertising, or specifically, outdoor advertising, to all the business people probably who are watching this?
I think they need to be there, on outdoors, because you need people to kind of recollect your brand.
Right.
Okay. And I think that's about it.
All right. So I think there was a great information when it comes to outdoor advertising, and anybody who's looking at outdoor advertising in Goa for your brand, SlipDisc is definitely a place to go to, and you can get in touch with Keith. Okay, and that was it. That was Keith Fernandes of SlipDisc. Thank you so much, and we will see you in the next episode with another brand. Thank you.